Exactly.
So now we'd like to go back to Joe with our unsung atheist hero of the week here.
Yeah, we're going to break with a little bit of tradition. Okay, usually my atheist unsung hero or heroine of the week is a person who is long deceased, which is great until you run out of names for a while. And, of course, we haven't run out of names, but we want to go with somebody who's alive. And this person who lives in Hagerstown, Maryland, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you had a tie. You actually had two this week.
Well, it was a tie, actually.
Oh, okay.
We'll go to that.
We'll do them both. Yeah.
Sort of a tie. Why not? Okay, two. And the first one here is Carl H. Silverman of Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. I believe he's moved now to Hagerstown, Maryland. And he's notorious as a state church separation advocate and has made a name for himself in this part of the country. Let's see, let's go ahead and this is some Sunday of the Austin American Statesman from the Baltimore Sun. A man who chased Gideon Bibles out of his local school district is pushing the Hagerstown baseball team to end a family discount for churchgoers, dragging the city into an uneasy debate over the freedom of and from religion. Freedom from religion being a very important part here. What it is that they're giving a discount to people, and they give discounts for several things, which is great, and it's a great way to bring all different kinds of fans out, but this one discriminates against people who do not go to church. And what it is that they will give you a discount. Let's see how much it was again. You can get as many as 6 members into the ballpark's general admission seats for just $6 if they bring a church bulletin. This is very important. We all know that they don't distribute church bulletins outside on the street corner or at the DPS or at the grocery store along with your lottery tickets. No, you have to go to church to get a church bulletin unless you want to steal them, and that's not very honest. But this presents an immediate form of discrimination against people who do not go to church or get church bulletins or who are just not religious. Also, people who go to temples and mosques and synagogues obviously cannot bring a church bulletin because they don't go to church. But what this presents is an excellent case for state church separation debate. And Carl Silverman has blown the whistle on them. Let's see, but in the fight over Gideon Bibles, he made news by threatening to distribute to 5th graders rival literature saying that God is just pretend. Now, that's interesting that so many people will really be scared out of their socks over that. Let's see, this newest crusade, though, about the discounts at the baseball park began Easter Sunday when Silverman arrived that day with the intention of challenging the Sun's policy of allowing families with as many as 6 members into the ballpark's general admission seats for just $6 if they bring a church bulletin. When he got there, he was asked if he had a church bulletin. Of course, he said no, and he would like to get the discount anyway. And of course, it didn't apply to him because he did not have a church bulletin. One thing to another, it's just a violation, and simple as that. Normally, it would be $10 a piece. It's down to $6
for the whole group.
Well, no, just a piece.
Oh, sorry.
But it's good for a family of up to 6 members. And let's see, the deal for church-going families, team officials say, has been available for 5 years, generating a few dozen takers each Sunday, but no complaints, until Silverman arrived. He came to our ballpark for one reason, said General Manager David Blackstone, and that is to cause trouble. He's a troublemaker. Well, when it comes to the First Amendment and equality, we don't feel that it's making trouble to point out the discrepancies involved there. And when there's a violation like this, one especially that violates the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a landmark federal law, prohibits discrimination at places of public accommodation based on race, color, or national origin or religion. So we are protected by that. And the discrimination that's taking place there, though minor, is also very symbolic in principle and very important overall because it's being applied unfairly. We should also give some credit. Well, there was a quote here. We're not sure if they're involved in this, but the Freedom from Religion Foundation, a watchdog group in Madison, Wisconsin, says the case is clear. Annie Laurie Gaylor is the president or the editor of the group's newspaper, and she's quoted as saying, "Just as you cannot give fans a discount because they're white, you cannot give them a discount because they bring a church bulletin. The Civil Rights Act protects not just color, but creed." And, of course, she also means religion as well as other things. We've got race, color, national origin, or religion. So those are covered, and this is a clear-cut case. Many people feel it's frivolous, but it is very clear-cut as far as a violation goes.
Lots of luck to Carl Silverman there. We do appreciate your efforts there. We're not trying to offend people, but where injustice is, we should be all fighting it there.
Sure.
And I just want to remind everybody, this is a live TV show. We're playing with the lights right now, trying to figure out if you notice the lights are going. So we'll get that all worked out. This is live May 31st. That is our telephone number, and we'll be getting to the phone topic here shortly. So if you want to get in on the phones there, just get in line there. We've got
one. Now we're right there.
There we go. There I am. Like I said, we'll be getting back to Bible prophecies, the topic here shortly. We do have a tie for Unsung Hero. I really like this teenager here, what she's doing here, so let's get back to that.
Yeah, and this is in San Diego, California, and this is a student, a high school sophomore by the name of Mary Kate Durkee. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Mary Kate Durkee. A high school sophomore who objects to reciting the Pledge of Allegiance is fighting for the right to sit quietly during the daily exercise in patriotism. That's the Pledge of Allegiance. Quote, "Until a few months ago, I stood and faced the flag with my hand over my heart and mechanically said the Pledge of Allegiance." I just love that. Mechanically. I really can connect with that and relate, because that's exactly what it was for me. And but I thought about what the pledge actually meant, and I disagreed with its message. She said she doesn't believe in God, or thinks the U.S. government is corrupt, and that American society is too violent, so she shouldn't have to show respect for a country that has so many problems. I really think what is at stake here is not necessarily just showing respect. I think what it is being coerced into giving a vow of respect every day. There's a difference between showing respect and then having to vow to it, especially when it's required. She's actually been punished for not taking part in that, and then this resulted in a civil lawsuit.
There's an excellent point, though, that God was not originally part of the Pledge of Allegiance. They added that in the 50s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
And
it
here
works
she is,
perfectly
15
well.
years old, and she's already making important decisions about her life and her beliefs, and making a stand for that. And I applaud her efforts there, being 15 years old, to be able to have the strength
and
and conviction of her
the guts
beliefs there.
Well, and she's taken this in a very intelligent way, and actually is not cowering right away. But as a result, the American Civil Liberties Union filed a federal lawsuit on behalf of her, Mary Kate Durkee, a 15-year-old in high school, to protect her First Amendment free speech rights. It all started on April 1 when the girl told her world history teacher that she would sit quietly at her desk while the rest of the class stood for the pledge. When the class finished, the teacher ordered her to stand in front of the class and recite the pledge by herself. Durkee, the young girl, she refused, raising her voice at the teacher when he continued to demand her obedience. The teacher threatened her with detention and sent her to the principal's office, adding that she was also subjected to ridicule by her classmates. Now, I would understand the ridicule, but she was also going to be punished for this, too. We're talking about detention.
So this is a good example of what the people for the Religious Freedom Amendment are expecting students to do. You know, they want them to sit quietly while the other people who have the... And see here, she's doing the Pledge of Allegiance, she's getting ridiculed.
Yeah, and this is just the pledge.
Yes, imagine...
That's two words that we contend and have a problem with, but when they start getting the organized prayer, what's going to happen then? Well, it's been going on for a long time. And, well, I actually feel that a lot of her beefs with the pledge are very valid, especially the God part, but there's a lot of problems with our government and our society, and I don't know that doing something else might be a little more productive. But let's see, she's being punished by this.
Yes.
It's near San Diego. She'd given her... Hopefully this is a quote from her mother, hopefully all people will realize that there is another way to express themselves if they want to express themselves, and that they can get support without resorting to drastic measures. Now, this is an ACLU federal lawsuit, and this is in Fallbrook Union High School, right, near San Diego.
Correct.
Now, what's interesting is, again, this is a 15-year-old sophomore in high school who's got the guts to do this. Now, there are people in higher positions of power in politics or in office situations or in other areas who have a whole lot more leeway, and if they want to buck the system a little bit, they have a whole lot easier time of doing it because of their position or what have you. And then you have people like Mary Kate Durkee, who are a 15-year-old sophomore in high school, and immediately, we know that immediately when an individual stands up and speaks out against this, or prayers in school, there is an immediate backlash and can be very bad. I'm sure that she's already suffered a bit socially in the school. It does say that she was a self-described loner who wants to be a vegetarian, which is great. It is important to show, though, that she's probably going to get a little bit of hassle from her friends and students and maybe even teachers and principals, as this has already happened in the form of detention. So that's why we figured there might be a tie today. Both of these are living people. They're not necessarily both atheists, but we definitely salute them. That's okay, you know.
All right. Yes, and that was great. We had a tie there this week, and it just shows all the different things that are going on here with our political system and everything else.